Welcome, guys, to my Traitors Canada Season 1, Episodes 4 and 5. Recap and review. We are back, finally. I know you missed us. I missed talking about this show. It actually was two really good episodes, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Um, so I was really excited to talk about these two episodes. I literally don't know where we're going to go from here, so I'm excited to find out. But welcome to my co-host Janelle Michaud. How are you, Janelle, tonight?
good. I also like these two episodes. It was really seeing a few I hadn't seen before on any of the traders that I had watched up until now. So I'm excited to talk about it. So excited to talk about it.
Sorry, I missed that.
That,
My
that's okay. I was just saying that I'm excited to chat about some things that I haven't personally experienced on traders up until now.
hmm
I liked both episodes. It's interesting, and I can't wait to see how some of these things unfold in the game. So,
Yeah, so definitely the challenges like if you've watched prior traders seasons, they definitely are both um challenges that have been performed in at least the UK and the US.
mhm.
I'm trying to think if Australia did the cathedral one. I think they may have done one similar to the cathedral one, so that's possible. But yeah, the the first challenge, I didn't like it when they did it in the UK and the US, which is the plane challenge. And the second challenge, I really like that one.
Yeah, the
In the
plane challenge
cathedral.
I thought was kind of boring, but served its purpose, I guess.
Yeah. It's just a weird challenge, and I'm sure it's meant to um push like the boundaries of everybody to like you're rushing and it's not possible. Now you've like split everybody up into groups where there's like clear divisions. And um yeah, it's it's a little difficult to it's just, to me, it's a little difficult to find anything like fun about it because it, first of all, it seems stressful. And even watching it the first time, it was like, oh, like, are they going to get the plane to land? And then it's like, after a while, you don't even care if they get the plane to land because they've been like fighting and arguing the whole time. And it's like, just do something, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my thing about that challenge. It's not necessarily, of all the challenges that have been done, it's not necessarily my favorite to watch on screen. So
Yeah.
um but so we do start off this episode first with um whether or not, I know seems far back,
Yeah.
whether or not Kuzi and Mike should murder or recruit.
Mm-hmm.
And we both said, leaving off, that they should murder, right?
Yep.
Personally, we thought they should murder Kevin.
Yes.
But
Yeah, absolutely.
but we said they didn't need to recruit. It wasn't time. They should just go ahead and murder. And what do you know? We were right. They decided no, they didn't need to recruit. They should go ahead and murder someone to, because then it would put them in a better spot. Well, at least that's what Mike said. And Kuzi was like, he's like, yes, do we need a third? And they both agreed they could do it right now without a third. And so Mike says, can I trust you? Will you stab me in the back? And Kuzi says, no, never. And they decide that Gerpier is an option. Now, did you think, because when we
No.
talked about it, we both said, no, they can't kill Gerpier. Like, it'd be too obvious, especially for Mike. It would be
Yeah.
too obvious.
Very, very obvious.
But they think Gerpier is an option. And they kind of went back and forth about it. Mike was like, can I stand that heat on it? Because literally everybody would be looking at him. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to be able to play the Mel B role of trying to fake and phony it, right? So, and then they decide that Kevin is an option because he's too vocal, and he was correct about Mel B and went right after her. And that's what we were saying. Like, his reads were too good. He was too vocal. When
He's
he's
very
ready to turn
convincing.
on you, it's
Yeah.
nothing you can do. And then they thought Crystal, because she had also had so much suspicion thrown on her from Mel B, but she can't be a traitor now to others because she like had all this suspicion on her now because of
Yeah.
the way Mel B and Mike kind of targeted her. So, and also, of course, we all know that she was suspicious of Mike at that point, right?
Yeah. He was. Yeah.
So they sign the warrant, they make it official, and the next morning, the first into breakfast is Mike, Mary, and Melissa A. Melissa A feels last night was hard because she didn't vote for Mel B. Mary says no one should feel bad. They give Mel B her kudos because she really played a good game. Like, she almost got away with it, right?
Almost.
Um,
Close.
Gerline, Kuzi, and Mike come in next. Gerline said they recruited someone. Did they recruit someone? They said they will see. And or were there 4 traders instead of 3? So you can have up to 4 traders, and every I know every series, every version, they're told you can have up to 4 traders.
Yeah.
And in fact, we watch in Australia 4 traders play.
Okay.
Um, Personally, I feel 4 traders is a lot. And like I already told you, I don't necessarily like how Australia handles traders, because once it's like cutting off the head of a snake, like it consistently regrows, like
Yeah.
in Australia. And I don't like that. Like,
Yeah.
okay, if it gets down to like one or
Two.
two, of
Mm-hmm.
course recruit, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if it's down to a trader, why are we recruiting another trader so we're at 4?
Right.
That doesn't
I
make
agree.
sense to me.
At least not force them. Like let it be their choice.
Right. So Leroy, May, Donna, and Fierce come in next. May wanted to throw out more than one name. And they agree. Rick is a traitor, and Mary says she will fight for May's voice. And my thing is, I don't mind you throwing out a name, but at least have like something behind it to back up, other than in your gut you feel like he's a traitor,
Yeah.
which
That
is
we need
what I
more
feel
than
like.
that.
Yeah, which is what
Because
I
there's
feel.
really sorry, there's really
Mhm.
nothing like you just base it off of your interpretation of what you think a trader would act like. And there's no indication of what a trader should or shouldn't act like. So
Right.
yeah, I would like to hear some reasoning more than just a gut feeling.
And at this point, that's all May is going on, is that in her gut, Melissa wasn't a traitor, and in her gut, Rick is a traitor.
And her
Um, and
gut was
before that,
wrong.
she felt like Colin wasn't a traitor, but she didn't speak up, which I get, but also that's your fault for not speaking up. Now, don't now target someone in an effort to speak up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, that was my whole thing about May's gameplay for these episodes. So, next up, who comes in? Oh no. So Trayvon and Crystal are next. Then everyone says Kevin has to be coming in, and Rick and Kevin come in, and it's realized that Gurpiar was murdered.
Yeah.
And back in Trader Towers, we see Gurpiar clocked Mike, and says Kuzi, it will look like someone is placing suspicion on him. Mike says he can take the risk, but he's not a good actor. He can't play the Mel B over the top. He would be sweating. And Kuzi says, I need you to, I need you in this. So they agreed that they're going to take it to the end. Gurpiar takes it hard, He thought that he would get through the night. He's surprised, right?
Yeah, he
I felt
was.
bad for him. He was kind of in tears, and I listened to a interview with him, and he saw the other version he really wanted to play,
Hmm.
and he was just too good. I told him take it as a in one of his post that he made, I told him to take it as a compliment.
Hmm.
He had clocked them, right? So he had
Yeah.
clocked two traders, Mel B and Mike. You had to go.
And I think that like what they thought, well, what Kuzi said would happen is like it didn't automatically make people suspicious of Mike. They thought that somebody was making a goofy move. Like, why would you
Yeah,
kill Gerpy? Or you're trying to frame Mike. Like, it worked. It
yeah,
worked. You
yeah.
know?
And Fierce accuses Rick of doing it,
Yeah.
and uh, Rick calls a Fierce Paolo and says, "Oh, who are you today?" Trying to say like he's faking a persona, but most of the people seem to really think that Rick is a traitor at this point.
Yeah.
It seems like they all come up to this conclusion there has to be one of the famous people or reality people have to be a
A
traitor,
traitor.
right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And so they've in their head it's got to be Rick. Mike goes after Rick and says he tried to protect Mel B and put suspicion on Dom. Now, I don't remember that happening at the round table. And so I was surprised when she said that.
Maybe something
Um,
we didn't see.
and I think that's what happened, something that we didn't see. And they almost miss a traitor.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, I'm like, but Mike, like you didn't even vote for Mel. What are you talking about?
She's getting on my nerves.
She is.
She is.
Rick says, did you win your season of MasterChef Canada?" She said, "No, I didn't." And he says, "And who did you vote for last night?" That kind of promptly shut.
No, she's still talking.
Yeah, that's true. Kuzi and Mike are in awe at how well their plan worked.
Hmm.
Rick says to Kevin, Leroy and Mai could be traitors as they didn't vote for Mel B. And Kuzi realizes she needs to recruit a reality person so that they can be accused and go and she can stay safe. And fair, right?
I was like, are you gonna get Mai? Because Mai is such a mess. People have already talked about Mai, and if Mai ends up being the traitor that goes down, that can be a good plan. Because who are the other reality people? It's
Mickey,
Mai, Mickey, okay,
um, Rick was one. He is a radio
right,
host. Kevin and Fierce.
okay.
And we don't
I
trust
think
Kevin to be a traitor.
no, I do not. They better never.
Yeah. Well,
They better.
according to Kevin, he actually they wanted him to be a traitor. They
Mhm.
like the production wanted. They're like, come on, you have to play as a traitor. But he's like, I like that's not why I came here because he said that he went on Big Brother, and after going on Big Brother, like he spoke to oh my god, what is her name? Oh my god, the one that you like from Big Brother,
Aika?
Ika. He
Uh-huh.
spoke to Ika and like another person, and they were just like, Kevin, you have a hard time developing relationships with people. And when he came out of Big Brother, he realized they were telling the truth. And so
Hmm.
he said, like, he worked on himself. And so he came here to this show to like really try to play differently and play in a way that he could develop more friendships.
Hmm.
And so he didn't want to play as a traitor. He wanted to play as a faithful. Also, like he felt like he
He,
would be targeted off the bat as well.
that's interesting. Like I'm trying to
Hmm.
remember his seasons. Because, like I talked about that one William that he got his paws on, he didn't have no trouble making a relationship with him. I'm trying to think about his first season.
I think he said it was. Did he play with Ika on both seasons?
Was it? I can't remember.
Hmm.
I'm definitely the second season. I cannot remember. I don't think he was in her first season. I don't think. Her first season was wild. That was wild.
So I thought that was interesting listening to that was his interview with Sharon Tharp. If you anybody wants to go out there and listen to it, it was very interesting. It was interesting. He didn't give too much spoilers, but it's interesting how like the things he talked about, the dynamics, the things that we weren't seeing. There was a lot of dynamics in the house that we weren't seeing. Um,
Yeah, I wish we saw more because
yeah, he says that he hates the challenges because he feels like they take up too much space of where we could see the strategic things going on behind the scenes. So we're gonna get to it. I'll tell you what with the shield what he said happened.
okay.
But he said he was really close to Kuzi, and shockingly, he didn't really suspect her at all.
Mm.
And he feels like he did come out of here with he did watch a little bit of her play on Big Brother Canada, and he loves her, he loves Kuzi, so
Mm.
that was interesting. So yeah, the Mal is no, sorry, Mai is upset. I'm sorry, I'm scroll down my notes. Rick, Kevin, Susie, right? Rick and Mai tried to talk, but she's too emotional. She feels she will be banished, and she ITMs that this is a hard game. Mai is upset. Gerpier is gone. She was very close to him, which again shocks me
Yeah,
that
we
Mai
didn't see
was.
that.
Yeah. Um. Rick says that they need to look at the reality stars that didn't vote for Mel B, and it's so funny because it's literally the opposite.
My, huh?
Rick, he wants to look at people like Mai
Yeah.
and Mickey. I think didn't vote for Mel B, but it's literally the opposite. You need to look at the ones that voted for Mel B because the two traitors voted for Mel B. Um,
Goodness gracious.
Trayvon is confronted about his vote, and he reveals he lied about his job, and I was like,
Why would
why?
he tell that? I don't understand like why he would tell it at that moment. If you've
I
already
don't
lied
know.
about it, there's no reason to undo the lie. Nobody's going to figure out your profession. And it
Right.
just makes you look suspicious and untrustworthy. So I did not understand his train of thought.
It didn't make any sense. And even Kevin said in his interview he didn't understand why he revealed that because he's like, he realized later, he's like, I did a whole campaign with Trayvon in Canada because he was a PR person and he did ad work and he worked with him behind the scenes. But
Yeah.
he's like, I knew your name looked familiar. He's like, yeah. I was like, that's just so silly. But he's suspicious of Mai, and they believe there has to be a reality star as a traitor, and it's either Rick or Mai. So the next challenge is to assemble the landing indicators. 3 rounds, $6,000. The fastest or the winning team will get to go into the armory and get the shield. Rick wants the shield so bad,
Bad.
more than the money.
Yeah. He's like, forget the money.
They break up into teams, and the leaders of the teams are May and Kevin. May
Mhm.
is very Kevin is very clear and concise, but May is all over the place. And in the first attempt, the plane doesn't land. And Kevin's team gets a point, but no money because they were correct. So both sides had to get it correct for the plane to land. But if
Right.
one side was correct and the other wasn't correct, they like it didn't land, but one team would get a point to go into the armory. On the second attempt, Kevin says that it is harder, and he at that point is not doing well. At this point, Fierce is taking over, not listening to him, and he's like he's not even he doesn't even know what it looks like. He's telling people to place things here, there, and everywhere, but he didn't
Yeah.
look at the graph to like know where to put
I
things.
I wanted Fierce to be quiet very badly.
Yeah, and I think it, it's like counterintuitive to do something like that, because it just makes you a liability not only to your team but to yourself, because now people are like, we gotta get rid of him because
Yeah,
like
because
he's
he's gonna ruin us in the challenges. We're not gonna get no money.
yeah. The plane lands for 2K, and each team gets a point. On the third attempt, Kevin says they move forward, and he tries to, make sure they go faster. May is scrambling to go even faster. And at that point, it was just like over, and the plane does not land because neither side got it right.
Right.
So at that point, red team, which is Kevin's team, got 2 points to the 1 point on the blue team, and does go to the armory. May does say later that Melissa A kind of was doing what Fierce was doing on Kevin's side, which is
Yeah.
just taking over and being loud and overrunning the show. I feel like probably, but also May, you didn't know how to lead, right? Like at least with
Mhm.
Kevin, I feel like since they were successful the first time, he was able to lead at some point, but then Fierce took over, right?
Right. Yeah.
Rick though says that it looked and felt like sabotage,
Yeah. I
which
was
it kind of did.
like, yeah, I was like, here comes Rick. He's not shy to speak his mind. You know what I
No,
mean?
no. So her team won't get a shield. So either he can be a banishment or a murder. So he feels like she did it to sabotage him so that she
Yeah,
can
so he couldn't get the shield. Right. I was like, dang, Rick, he thinks she's going hard against him, but I don't blame him.
right. So at the round table, it does come down to Rick or Trayvon and May. But prior to that, it they do go into the armory for the shield for the first time. And what you do is you go in one by one, and there's boxes. So every person goes in alone, door closed, with the boxes, and they lift up the box of their choosing, and then either the shield is in there or not, and they leave the box that they've chosen
Open. Yeah.
open, because then that way people don't know if you got the shield or not. And usually the teams agree, we are not going to tell who got the shield. That's supposed to protect us, to like make sure nobody targets our entire team,
Yeah.
right? But in this one, they go in and Kuzi gets the
I was so
shield.
excited for her.
I was so excited for her. It was so exciting to watch because I was like, please let her get the shield. Please let her get the shield. And she gets the shield, and I just thought it was, I'm like, I know she's a traitor, but I just think it's so awesome that she got the shield. Now,
So that
Kevin's
means if
back.
they try to banish her, they cannot because she has the shield.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't stop from banishment either.
Because it stops from murdering?
Yes, it only stops from murder.
Oh, so it ain't no good to her, but she stopped
No,
other people from having it.
yes, exactly. Then she knows who has it, so she could murder anybody, which is what happened, right?
What happens if they try to murder somebody that has it?
Then the shield. Then they walk into the breakfast room the next morning.
Like, oh man, they have the shield.
Yeah,
Does the person well they must know that they have to give up their shield. It obviously. So but do other people know that they were saved? Or maybe do they assume recruit
they.
like does everybody else know what happened? That a person was
I
attempted an
don't.
attempted murder happened, but it didn't
I'm
work.
trying to think if ever. So the one time, because the U.S. season, the first season, Ari kept getting the shield, like over and over. And even I think even Taylor in her chat had put, she's like absolutely, it got absolutely ridiculous because every time he went into the armory, he got the shield, and then at one point he gets recruited, instead of like attempted murder, and so he does come in and say, wearing the shield, like, oh, I got the shield, but he had been recruited and turned into a traitor. So Kevin tells us on Sharon's podcast that he apparently had put been in the armory first, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes to the boxes, and he
Kevin
said
told you this?
on Sharon's podcast.
Okay.
And so he goes into the armory and he looks, and he said he saw a light coming out of one of the boxes, like a red light. Yes. And he said, production. And they're like, oh, Kevin, thank you. Sorry. Yes, let's go. We're going to reset.
Oh.
And they reset it. And the next time he went back into the armory, it there was no light.
Hmm.
And so he's like, he probably shouldn't have said anything. Should have just
Right.
like,
Like, why'd you tell? Why don't you just go get the shield?
yeah.
I wouldn't
And
have
he
told.
said that he had went out and told everybody that there was like a beam of light that shone in the box, and that's they had to reset the whole thing, right? And so everybody was going in there like looking for the box. But he said that Kuzi said she walked in, she closed her eyes, and she said she was like praying, and God like sent her like the where like in her brain,
Mm-hmm.
like which box had a light in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know, visually it was like this box has a light inside, a red
Right.
light inside. And when
Yeah.
she opened it, that's the one that had the shield.
Mm.
Isn't that so interesting?
Yeah. Kevin said this?
Yeah.
So when did he find this out is what I want to know, but okay.
Oh, he said that him and Kusi like talk all the time, have lunch and stuff like that. So after the show,
Mhm. Gotcha.
but I thought that was so interesting. So after that, we know Kusi has the shield, so she's going into this round table. She can do whatever she wants to. She hopes somebody gets banished as a faithful, and then they can murder somebody on either team with no problem. So she does not tell anybody she gets the shield. They go into the round table, and it really comes down to again Rick, Trayvon, and Mai, and we don't fully get the entire vote, but then episode
Yeah.
5 starts with the votes.
The
And
finishing, I was so mad. I was like, oh, come on, show me. I was mad. So I was thankful, it's right at the top of the episode. But yeah, I
yeah,
expected him to go.
yeah,
As
same.
much heat that was on him, as much as people were looking, I thought he did a decent job, but I just felt like too many eyes were on him at that point
Yep.
for him to get out of that one.
Nope. Couldn't do it. So with all the votes, Trayvon Rick is ultimately banished. And Trayvon is upset because he was doing well. His gut is been wrong this whole entire time. Because remember, he was targeting Rick. He swore it was Rick, and he was wrong.
It
And
was.
now he's a target because everybody knows he lied about his job.
Yeah. He put that
So
on himself. You can't even feel bad. I don't even, I was like, oh, stop. It's not, it's not like, how do I, like, it's not like things are happening and people are blatantly ignoring what is in front of their face. Like
right,
sometimes we talk in Big Brother, like, how could you possibly believe this person when you have so much evidence to the contrary? And I feel different about this one. I don't think it's a situation where somebody needs to be upset that they didn't guess it. You're not a mind reader. You know
right,
what I mean? You're only going to be able to pick out so many things, and there's not a lot to go off of. I so wish there was more to go off of as far as discovering who a traitor is.
yeah.
Yep.
So I feel like a lot of these people are very emotional.
They are lots of crying.
Yes.
Well, I don't
Um,
even understand for what. What are you so upset about?
I have no idea, but and I get it's hard. It's hard, but yeah, it seems like it just is a lot for them. So we do see next that the traitors meet to recruit or
Murder.
um, murder, and they got the outcome that they wanted. They
Mhm.
wanted no one to say their names, and no one did. Not
Right.
this, not this time, at least. So they decide. Listen, let the good times roll while we still still in a good thing. They decide not to recruit. That they will either murder Kevin. They don't want him to get too far in the game, or they plan on murdering Crystal. And apparently she was suspicious of both of them. So um I didn't realize, because we know that she told Mike that she was suspicious of him, but
Yeah.
apparently she was suspicious of
Koozie.
Kuzia
I
as well.
thought I heard her say that, but I can't remember now. But yeah, I was like both good options, Crystal or Kevin. Kevin first, Crystal second, because I Crystal, she's clocking some things.
Right.
So they better watch, and she seems to be pretty quiet. Like she seems to be flying under the radar, and I think has people on her side because that other Melissa that's still there was upset when Crystal did it, like when Crystal came in pretty late. So, and like Kuzi said, people are starting to listen to her.
Yeah.
So they better
Yep.
get her. They better get her.
um so we do see that they they also include Fierce, because Fierce is just, he
A
like,
mess.
a mess. A mess. And
Hmm.
so at breakfast, everyone is upset that they got another faithful, because they all just knew that Rick was
A
a
traitor.
traitor.
Yeah.
Especially those that have been wrong before. Um, Fierce comes in and is upset with Kevin, and even on social media, everybody has asked Fierce why they were upset with Kevin, and they have not answered the question.
Maybe Fierce just wanted some camera time because I didn't get it. Even if you were upset, can you not? Fierce would probably be so funny on Big Brother.
Oh yeah,
Oh my god!
if
Like
they
I
did
cannot
a celebrity
imagine.
Big Brother,
Yes, I cannot imagine Fierce on Big Brother. I think that Fierce would be a mess and like starting so much drama, so much trouble.
yep,
But he would be interesting. But yeah, I was like, even if you are upset, why don't you pretend not to be upset or like work on getting Kevin banished if that's the thing, you
yeah,
know?
I don't even know. And so ultimately, Crystal is the one that's murdered, which shocks many, because she was on the red team where someone had the shields. And again, she was murdered because she had clocked both of them.
Yep.
And she took it pretty well.
Yeah.
Personally, I watched her interviews. She took it really well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And even when they showed her who the traitors were, she was very much like, okay, I had suspicions of both
When
of them.
did when did they show her?
Oh no, not here. They showed her, like, I'm talking about after the show. Like, I
Okay.
watch, they always do on their Instagram page and Twitter page reveal of
Oh,
their
you could have
reaction.
told me about this.
Oh, I
I
did.
want to
I'm always sharing it. I always retweet it. You don't see it?
know because I go on Twitter, I tweet what I want to say and then bounce. That's the truth.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
I
I
don't
always
always like.
retweet it on Twitter. I don't always share it on Instagram, but yes, they do that.
I did not know
Um,
this. Yeah, I've
so,
not been on Twitter a lot as far as reading what everybody else is saying because it irks my soul most times. But I go on, I tweet, and I bounce.
yeah, so um they've done it for everybody who's either been
Oh,
murdered or banished, and they always show a reveal of who the traitors are.
I need to go watch these immediately. Like I'm so mad I've not seen this.
Yeah, they're
Anybody
actually
have a
really
really
good.
good reaction?
Yeah, Gerbier had a really good reaction, because, like, remember when we saw him, he was upset, right?
Hmm.
But then he opened up and saw who the traitors were, and he's like, "I was right." and so it like he was emotional because then
But he knew like I got killed because I was on to them, like I was doing a
yeah.
good job. Okay, gotcha.
Crystals were really good. Rick's was good because he was so wrong and off. Who else got Dr. Nazila was okay.
Yeah, the rest are already killed.
Fierce was interesting. Go watch that one.
Really? What do you say about Kuzi?
He didn't he didn't really say anything, but he did tweet the other day that he's rooting for anybody who didn't vote for him
Did Kuzi vote for
to be
him?
banished.
Did Kuzi vote him out? I can't even. Well, we didn't
She
even.
did. Yeah. And
I've
so
seen
she
them
so
together,
she
so it
re-
has to be okay.
yeah, so she retweets it. Says, so you're voting for Mike?
He's so funny.
They're funny. They're both funny.
Yeah.
Um okay, so everybody wants to know who got the shield because how is it possible that Crystal was on the red team and someone had the shield, but a shot was taken by the traitors?
Yeah.
And Kuzi keeps quiet. She says, I'm not telling no one because all that's going to happen is they're going to keep the suspicion on her,
Yeah.
which I thought was smart. I've watched other versions, and the amount of people who tell the people that they got on other teams, on their team, that they got the shield is the most idiotic ever, ever. But nobody says anything here, and so it does like kind of breed suspicion. They go through and they start suspecting May and Mary because Mary was on the red team, which had the shield, and
Mm-hmm.
May they just are suspicious because she just
Just May, because she's
May.
May.
So next up is the Cathedral Challenge, and they are divided into two teams, and it's a race to find 6K in gold left for them by their murdered comrades. So masked masked congregation, they have gold masks on, and they are wearing elements that are in a book of traitors, and you have to find the right clue in order to find the right item, to ask that person, do they have hidden with them the gold? And in here we see gold coins,
Gold coins,
right?
big ones.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. And so we do get round one. The first team is team two, which has May running to. So the first person starting. So the two teams stand at the beginning of the cathedral, and they have
Mhm.
to send somebody to run to the back of the cathedral, where it's like that booth, like where
Like
priests
a
would sit.
confessional Catholic
Yeah,
confessional booth. Yeah.
and so like the first one, Crean says, do you have anything to confess? And they're like, no. Um, so the first set that'll go out for the teams is team two sent out Mike, team one sent out Leroy. Mike are on and Kuzi are on opposite teams. Mike is on team two with May, and Kuzi is on team one with Leroy. Mike gets back first after getting a clue for Corinne, but doesn't seem to get the correct clue, and they are kind of scrambling. Um,
Yeah, because I mean, I'd be like paragraph 128, line three. But like, I'd have to say it over and over. I know I would get it mixed up. That's just my brain. But I thought they did an okay job. That one team slayed, though. Like, they just.
yeah. If you do it properly, it's so good. So team one, though, they Leroy got them. It looks like they were able to count out the right clue,
Hmm.
and they send they send read out the quote, and Fierce actually comes up with the answer thanks to Gerpier because it had to do with dragonflies. So he does run out into the congregation and goes right to the person with the dragonfly on them and gets 2K in the bag. Then we have round two. Round two was Trayvon for team two and Mickey for team one. Kevin is leading team two, but it's not working. He's not seeming to be able to count
Yes.
the correct, and he's like, there's four
Per
sections
page.
per
Yeah.
page. Why am I not able to do this?
Panic, frazzle. I'm sure it's easy. Like it's not easy under pressure. So every
Um,
time they have these, I'm sorry, every time they have these challenges where it's
mhm,
split like this, is there a shield to win?
yes,
Because honestly, there's no motivation to like beat the other team if you're
it's
gonna
a
get
race
the
for
six
the
thousand
shield.
dollars. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's because really the money is the pot to who either of the set of faithfuls that are in the end of the set of like traitors in there.
Right. Exactly.
But when you're split up like this, it's about the shield. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So uh team one does miscount and try again. Team two sends Mike out to find a scale based on whatever they paragraph that they included they got. Finally, the clue had to deal with a four-leaf clover, and it's like, oh, it's embedded in a four-leaf clover. And Kuzi at first said a leaf, and then finally she said it's a heart, right? Because it's like three
Yeah.
hearts.
Yeah.
And so they send Fierce out to find a heart, and he finds a heart on a person and gets another set of 2K gold coin. Fierce is waving around the coins, and it's just making Kevin hot. Oh, he's so pissed. He's like, I don't understand. I'm usually so good at this. And he's just so his competitive nature is like absolutely coming out.
Yeah.
So round three is Mike for team two and Gerline for team one. And Mike says it's even more and they could not come back from this. The answer was a moon. And Fierce goes and gets the last bit of golds, and team one will go into the armory. Kevin is worried he's going to be a target. So
He was
in
terrible.
so in his head, cause like he's like, I gotta find a traitor and I have to become friends with him. And so he cozies up to Mary because again, Mary was one of the people started thinking was a traitor, right? Because she was
Yeah.
on the red team the last time. Um, and so they're all trying to figure out what they're going to do. Kevin is worried. Mai is worried. Trayvon is worried. Mary starts to catch wind that people think she's a traitor, so now she gets worried. So
And I
so
thought Kevin's idea here was weird.
really
About
to cozy up to a traitor.
no. About how he like wanted to put all this heat on Fierce, but then he's like, I need to kill somebody and I need to banish somebody and then or I need to banish somebody and then be wrong. And then
Yes. Oh, that one. Yeah, it was weird. He's like, I'm
yeah, he
like,
was like,
you're
I need to
already wrong. Like people
right.
see that you're wrong.
Yeah,
They
you're
don't
already
need to.
wrong. So he was like, I need to banish somebody, but then be wrong about it. And I think I'm gonna go in tonight and put all this heat on Fierce. And I'm like, okay, let's just see how this goes. But I just thought it was a weird train of
Right,
thought
I
there.
understand putting the heat on Fierce because you want the heat off of you. But
That's
like
fine, yeah.
again, reality to reality, understandable. But I didn't understand why he had to be wrong. Like you're already been wrong and sabotaged at least one and a half challenges at this point. There, it's like literally no reason for that to happen. Like yes, use Fierce as your shield, right? Like just like
Yeah.
Mel B tried to use Crystal as her shield,
Yeah.
but that like I didn't understand it either. Yeah, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I was like, good, Kevin. Get this one.
So ultimately we go into round table and everybody is just so now this is the other thing again, they seem to cut out stuff because we keep seeing them say, oh, tonight the round table is going to be a lot of shouting and this and that, and we never see it, right? Like we
Not a clip of it, not a nothing.
we do see that Kevin calls out Mike at the round table for kind of aiding and abetting. He peeped that he aided and abetted Mel B, and I said, I told you that that would come back to bite you, Mike. I told you. Um, but ultimately, his plan to throw heat on Fierce, lands the vote in a split where it was Mary, Mai, Trayvon, and Fierce. And again, what we were saying before, Fierce's mouth had been basically just running amok on top
Yeah.
of being distracting to so many players that like they felt like he was or they were not only distracting in the challenges, but they were all also distracting at the round table because of the way that they're being so vocal
Yeah.
that he ends up being the person with all the votes stacked against them, which was only like what, like 3 votes, I think it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah. It
that
wasn't a
ended
lot.
up sending him out.
Yeah. And back to Kevin's strategy, he's like, I believe Fierce is a faithful, but I can't believe he was purposely trying to get out of faithful. Like, to
I
me, that,
that's why I'm saying, like, I understand, like, his thought process again. This is why he would have been a good trader, because it was absolutely right if you're playing against a trader, right? Like, because
yeah.
you want a
Uh-huh.
shield. So he was like, same thing with Big Brother. He was using Fierce as a shield.
Hmm.
No problem. You just can't let the shield go out.
Go home, right? And I don't think he didn't expect for that to happen.
He did
He
not.
did not expect for it to go as far as it did, and Fierce to actually leave.
Yeah, people just took it as a, oh, let's just see if we can do this. Um,
And
and
Fierce
so
just
yes,
looked he just looked like he had an attitude. The
yeah,
whole episode, the
yeah.
whole round table, he was just hands crossed, arms like or eyes rolling.
it was it was kind of sad. So we do lose Fierce this episode. So we lost 3 people. We lost Rick, Crystal, and Fierce. I don't even know how many episodes are left. I think it's usually 10 episodes, and we're like going
One
into episode
six.
6
Yeah.
tonight. So maybe 4 more weeks. I
It's
like,
going by fast then.
it's going fast,
Well,
and
maybe
I
compared
don't.
to Big Brother, anything's gonna
Yeah,
be
true, true, true. But did I feel like some of the stuff that everybody's saying is happening like in edits, behind the scenes. Um, I feel like they need to bring a little more of it in, but I still really like the episodes. I still really like the characters that are on here. I personally, I have basically, before I like could figure out what was going to happen, I have no clue what's going to happen in the next few episodes.
Yeah, I really have no clue about next week or who's going to be. As long as they don't look at my girl, I don't really care. They can look at anybody they want to, as long as they don't look at Kuzi, and
Yeah,
as long as she's at the end, I really don't care about anybody else.
true. So what do we think? Do we think, now that Fierce is out, that they are going to recruit or murder tonight?
I am going to pick recruit.
I think they should recruit as well.
They need to
Um,
recruit that mess of a Mai,
yes, I would recruit Mai, or I would recruit
but I would be
Nikki.
nervous that she would somehow get the heat on me though too. I don't know.
I don't know if she's capable of it,
Why can't she just be like, I think it's Kuzi?
because nobody would believe her.
I
Well, I
hope
mean, that's what it sounds like she's gonna do based on the preview.
preview. Yeah.
Um, but I think everybody would be like, oh, she's just throwing suspicion onto Kuzi, right? Like,
Hmm.
because she's a traitor. Like, they already think she's a traitor, which is why I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, because if they make her a traitor and then they kill her, that'd be excellent.
yeah, yep,
I hope they do it.
yeah.
Because I don't know who else I would like. I don't trust Kevin to recruit him because I
No,
feel like he would. If there was no Kuzi traitor, I'd be like, get Kevin because I would
get
be
Kevin.
rooting for it,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah,
not if Kuzi is already a traitor. I do not trust him not to mess her up. They would be interesting playing Big Brother together,
yeah.
but I don't know who I think that they should recruit. Like to
Hmm.
me, there's no. I think Crystal would have been a good choice because I think she's smart.
She
But
wanted to play as a traitor. She was upset.
was she?
Yeah,
Oh, I mean, I
she
don't.
was.
I would want you too because I think it's
Yeah,
the easier way. I don't know. That's
Yeah,
just my perception.
Gerpier did not. He wanted to play as a faithful. He watched the UK. Said it was his favorite version, and he said he felt like watching how the faithfuls played there. He felt like he could play better, a better game, but he also
Mhm.
liked the ability to play as a faithful. So, um, yeah. So I agree. I think it's time for recruitment, and I say my or Mickey.
The Amazing Race guy. Yeah, he don't say
Hmm.
nothing. He's just
They
quiet. I don't think anybody's really looking hard at him. Or what do you think if they made Trayvon? Because people were suspicious of him anyway.
True, but
But
it
maybe
need
they
a
should be.
it has to be a reality person because they're
Yeah,
insisting that doing a reality person. That's the
yeah,
only reason why I'm saying that.
yeah. That's true.
Coogee
Whatever
needs a
keeps choosy
shield.
girls safe. I am excited for this episode.
Me too. So, guys, thank you for joining us. Janelle, tell the people what you're going to be up to for the next
Well,
few
we
weeks.
have one last week of Big Brother. I am excited to wrap up the season. I'm hoping I could be a tiny bit satisfied with who wins out of the final three. We'll see how it goes. But besides that, I'm just covering this with you.
Hmm.
And that's it.
Yeah, so we will be back probably at the end of the week sometime to discuss the final week of Big Brother. If you've
Yeah.
not seen our catch up for weeks 12 and 13, please go on my channel and watch that video. We discussed everything that happened the last couple of weeks. We are excited to finish out the season.
Yes, we are. Let's get this
Um,
over with. It's been such a long season.
Absolutely. We are covering this until the end of the season, but I am covering Love Island games, which I'm excited about. So every few days or every night, I'm covering. It's about 10:30 after the episode airs. I'm recapping it. And so far, the season is really good, guys. So if you have not watched yet, or you want to see if you should watch, come on my channel, watch my recap, and then go watch the show, and then come chit chat with me about the show. It's very very fun. So I will be back tonight to discuss episodes. Yesterday's episode Sunday, so 4, and tonight's episode 5.
Ooh.
And then we are covering Chantel Francis, and Miss T Joy and I are covering The Golden Bachelor on my channel, and Bachelor in Paradise on Chantel Francis's channel, which is Reality Realness with 3 S's. And then November 17th, which I think is in 2 weeks, I will start the coverage of Amazon Prime and ITV Twin Love with the Bella twins. I don't think they go by. I really need to find out how they go by now, but they no longer go by Bella twins. But they are hosting the show, and it's about twins finding love, which I'm excited about. Like really, really excited to find out how that's going to work out. Always been interested in twins. So it'll be very, very interesting to see how that it ends up working out. Like how are they drawn to each other, that kind of stuff. So let me see what they're called. They are called now. It's still they still have them under the Bella Twins. I don't know. I know they had changed their name at one point.
Oh.
And Nikki and Brie Bella. Listen. All right, so I'm gonna keep calling them. So thank you for joining us, guys. We will be back for Big Brother, and then we will be back like tomorrow. We'll see
Mhm.
you for Traders Canada recap. And we're all caught up.
Yep.
So thank you guys for joining us tonight. I will see ya. We will see ya next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.